So you've come here for the truth. Well, we've got the truth and nothing but the truth. Here are your hosts, Robert A. Bianchi and David J. Bruno.
Welcome to Nothing But the Truth. I am your host, Dave Bruno. I'll be flying solo today. Bob has a conflict, but the show must go on, and we have a good one today. I am joined by Juliette Valle, who is Miss Florida 2023. She's just finishing right now her internship at Fox News, and she's a law school student, and not just any law school student. We both attended the same law school for the first year, and that is St. Thomas Law School in Florida. And I, growing up in New Jersey and basically still living there, I went down to Florida for my first year at St. Thomas, as did Juliette. So we have a lot to talk about because we have a lot of things in common. I wasn't Miss Florida, but we definitely are aligned on the legal profession. We both went to St. Thomas. And with her internship on Fox News, there's a little overlap there because, as you guys know, I did do a lot of Fox News. I do Core TV, so I could relate to that. So super excited for this conversation, Juliette. And thank you for coming on Nothing But the Truth.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I have to say, I was doing research when you reached out to me, and I think that all that you've done and the reporting community, the legal community is so impressive. So I'm so honored that you thought of me.
Oh, without a doubt. And I was so impressed by your background as well. You're not the first beauty queen either to be on. We had Shannon Bream, Uma Sophia, Miss Teen,
she's great.
New Jersey, and Teen USA. So
yeah, that's awesome.
It's a nice soft landing spot for those that have won those pageants.
Yeah,
but let me start
amazing.
How did you get into that? How did Miss Florida? I mean, what an exceptional crown to win too with Sunshine State. How did you get into that?
Well, the story is that it was my freshman year, summer school before freshman year. I didn't want to take physical education during the year, so I took dance the summer before my freshman year of high school. And I think one of the most beautiful young women I've ever seen who did not look 14 years old. She was a beauty contest winner at the time, a different system than I ended up going into, but I just thought oh my goodness, I want to be just like that girl. So I entered pageants for not a noble reason. I just wanted to be this beautiful, tall, blonde girl because she was everything I was not. I had bows in my hair and I looked like I was 10 and I just wanted to be more like her. And then I actually ended up entering because I have an opera talent, so I chose the Miss America system, and I was already singing opera at age 14. I had just started, and I realized I had a knack for it, and so I competed in my first teen pageant, and by the grace of God, I won, and I ended up realizing that it was a lot more than just being pretty and singing, but it was a lot of service that went into it. And I didn't even realize there was a state pageant either. When they told me, you're going to go to Miss Florida Teen now, I was like, what? I didn't realize that it was going to become this big thing that would change my life. And, that was 8 years before I won the crown. So it was a long time in the making, but I loved, competing, and the bug bit me, as they say, and I just had to keep going back. And by the time I won Miss Florida, it was something where I fully understood the service component of the organization, and it helped me in so many other ways, scholastically. It's paying for my master's at Harvard, where I'm studying business and management. It's helped me make connections of, it's how I met many of the people that I met at St. Thomas, who helped me get into law school there. It's changed my life in terms of my career. It's a great way for me to open doors. So needless to say, it's, transformed my life in ways that I never imagined it would at 14 years old.
Wow. Did you say a graduate degree from Harvard?
Yeah, so I'm pursuing my graduate degree at Harvard. I was originally doing my master's in history, but in order to finish it in concurrence with my Juris Doctor, I'm studying business and management now. I studied last summer in person in Cambridge, but I'm studying online now, finishing the duration of that online, or the rest of that online.
Unbelievable. And you think that experience in the pageants and the impact service and community that you learned played a part in all that?
Yes, most certainly. I mean, again, I won $20,000 when I won Miss Florida, but that is only applicable to a scholarship. So that went directly to my master's, which is why I felt I could even, pursue that in the first place, because I had the financial backing to do so. And I believe 85% of my law school has already been paid through a scholarship there. So I was able to allocate that money from Miss Florida towards that degree at Harvard, and it made me believe in myself and made me believe that I could do things that I never thought feasible. So absolutely. It also taught me public speaking. It taught me how to, network, especially. I think that's where I've learned all my networking skills that have benefited me so much in this job at Fox and in my political career as well. So I absolutely would say it's a lot more than meets the eye, 1000%.
Yeah, and you mentioned that service component of the pageantry. And it's something I've learned a lot too from Shannon and Uma Sophia, and learning about really what it takes, not only to just get on that stage, but also the component to service, impact, and community, 3 things and pillars I value a lot. So how did that, sort of frame the next level? Like, what did you have to do in the service component that really made you go to the next level like you're talking about?
Yes, certainly. So I think the service component is probably the most important component of the Miss America organization, which a lot of people don't realize. So I'm so happy that you're shedding light on it with your question. I've worked with the National Kidney Foundation for several years now as a spokesperson and both state and national ambassador. My dad is a kidney doctor, so a nephrologist, and my mother's a transplant nurse. So that's where my passion stems from there. And I think networking with them has helped me tremendously because it's made me able to lobby for legislation at the Florida State Capitol. I just recently spoke with the Governor's Club last March, I believe it was, speaking on behalf of chronic kidney disease patients, transplant patients, dialysis patients. So it's given me a lot of tips in regards to being eloquent and being professional and building up that network, like I said earlier. So the service component is definitely a launching pad, but it also is really fulfilling. I think being able to give back to a community that I grew up around, being at my parents' practice and seeing all that they do as medical experts, it's been such a tremendous feeling. It's been such a wonderful gift. And I've continued to work with the National Kidney Foundation since my reign is over, and it's built a long-standing relationship with several different chronic kidney disease charities, but they have been most prominent in my journey to becoming Miss Florida.
Oh, amazing. So Miss Florida 2023 goes on to represent the state of Florida in Miss America 2024. And what I read about your competition for Miss America is that you are the first contestant in the history of the contest that gave a bilingual answer on stage and finished top 10. So what was that something you knew you were going to do going in? And did you know you were the first? How did that come about?
Yeah, so no, I did not know that I was going to do that. That was very spontaneous. Like, everyone has asked me that question. Well, no, anytime anyone asked me that question, I always would be like, no, absolutely not. We really didn't know what we were going to be asked. We actually thought we were going to be asked typical questions about current events or our platform. Like I just said, mine's chronic kidney disease awareness and prevention. But then we were just given hot topics. And I was given the topic of women. So I just thought immediately, I should talk about how I'd be the first Hispanic Miss Florida, or first Hispanic Miss America, in 102 years at that time, if I were crowned tonight. And I was only the second Hispanic Miss Florida in our 87-year history at the time. So that was not my platform, because, again, my platform was in regards to kidney patients, but I knew that was something I wanted to run with when I had the opportunity, because that was an agenda I was pushing quite a lot. And so the speaking Spanish part just happened organically. I really was trying to ramp up on my Spanish because, of course, I was doing a lot of appearances with Hispanic communities, getting featured in a lot of Hispanic media as well, because a lot of people were very shocked that I was from Florida, which I think is close to being 1/3 Hispanic, 27% I think it is. And yet I was only the second representative to have Hispanic heritage. And so, as the daughter of a Peruvian immigrant, that was really important to me. And being able to speak Spanish in that moment was very unexpected, but very cool, and resonated with a lot of people. So that was very, very, very special for me.
Yeah, you mentioned the public speaking too, which, a lot of people are terrified of public speaking, getting on stage, getting on television, speaking in crowds. What are some things that you have learned from this experience on stages and also working as an intern at Fox News? What are some takeaways that you can give the audience about public speaking and how to tackle it without the fear and frustrations?
Yes, I think that's very important. I think public speaking is one of the most daunting things for most people, and certainly for me at some point. If you had told me like years ago that I would have been able to speak on the Miss America stage, I would have never have believed you. And I forgot to answer one of your previous questions on how did I know I was the first. A pageant historian later told me, he was like, "You actually were the first person to do this," and he vetted it. So I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So that was an amazing experience. But yes, to go back to public speaking, I mean, when I first went to my appearances as a 14-year-old local title holder, I couldn't speak to anybody. Now I speak to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm very sociable. I'm very outgoing. And I think that's definitely a quality that's developed as a result of my, pageant career. I think a tip for me in terms of preparing for something as big as Miss America, where we have a private interview, which is almost like a press conference where you kind of have to know a litany of things. I made an 87-page study guide that is really real. I sent it to some of my friends that were competing across the country, for their state, because they were like, "I need that guide," and it was real. I studied very, very hard, but I knew that if I studied, then everything would come to me organically, and I wouldn't be struggling in that moment. So I think just really researching. Of course, you as a very experienced and like well-known reporter, like you have to research and know your stuff. Even in pitch meetings, when I'm offering a story as an associate producer right now for Fox News Live, I know what I'm talking about because I don't want to be in a pitch meeting stumbling or trying to search for a name or not really knowing what I'm saying, because these are professional people that don't have all day. And that's not necessarily as big as public speaking on the Miss America stage, but it's still hard when you're talking to people that are so experienced and so professional and so learned in their careers. But I think the best thing is to just be prepared, sound confident, go in knowing what you want to say. And I also think, too, something that's really big in pageant interviews is not being too long-winded. I'm a very verbose, conversational person. I'm sure you can tell that by now. But I think in a pageant interview, you want to maximize your time, or really in any interview. So you want to make sure you're getting the most important points across and thinking of your bag of tricks. Like, what 5 things do I want the person on the other side of the table to know about me after these 10 minutes or so are over? Because that's all you've got at Miss America is 10 minutes. And so I would think of 5 things that I know by the time this interview's over, I want to tell the judges these 5 things about me. And if I have time to tell them more, that's great. But if I don't, then at least I know I got the most important things out of the way first.
Oh, wow. Great points. Maximizing time is critical. We in our society right now, with the abundance of information, the feed, the scroll, the headlines, a lot of communication really has to be compact nowadays because of the attention spans of everybody on all the media, TV, Netflix, social media, all the things. And I think it is a very good point to make. And then you also hit on the 2 points that I talk about a lot as a trial attorney. Because I see public speaking and being a trial attorney as very similar. You're in front of people. There's a lot of pressure when you're on your feet in a courtroom. And I point to 2 things that you brought up, and that is preparation. I mean, preparation is key when you have to do something like this. You have to stand up. If it's a pageant question, you need to know sort of your background and where you're going to go if asked. But also in the courtroom, you need to know the facts better than the witness themselves. And that's the key. And also experience, right? Because it's hard to just go out and do something one time. And it's the same for public speaking. It's the same for trial advocacy. Do the thing, do the hard thing, raise your hand, do more, get on stages. So I think you definitely hit those 2 things, plus the maximizing the time and content, which is all 3 things I agree with. But believe it or not, Juliette, we are 1/2 of the way down. That is our first half of this interview.
You got
We're going to go to a commercial break. I will be right back with Juliette Valle.
At the Bianchi Law Group, our team of former prosecutors and certified criminal trial attorneys specialize in criminal defense and domestic violence cases. When you need a law firm with courage, compassion, and the commitment to fight for you, call the Bianchi Law Group today.
All right, welcome back to Nothing But the Truth. I'm your host, Dave Bruno. We're with Juliette Valle and really hitting all the things on public speaking. But we're gonna talk a little bit about now law. Because what an exceptional background. I didn't even know about the Harvard graduate degree. And now we're talking about law school for you. And we have that common first year at St. Thomas, although I'm older and I was there a long time ago. But with that being said, when did that trigger for you that this was something that you wanted to do to be a lawyer?
My sister was the homicide division chief for Miami-Dade County under State Attorney Kathy Fernandez-Rundle. So yeah, I mean, she is amazing, my sister, and she is very tough and very brilliant. She graduated from the University of Miami School of Law, and I always grew up really idolizing both my sisters. My sister Christy has her MBA, and then my sister Jenny, of course, is an attorney who I'm speaking about right now. So they are both very amazing, very successful women. But to go back to Jenny, I just grew up thinking that she was a superhero because of the work that she did as a criminal prosecutor. And I saw how tough her job was and the kind of cases she was handling. And I was like 12 or 13 at the time when she was first working for the state's attorney's office. So I didn't even want to hear like the gory details, all the horrible things that she had to work through and prepare for. But she actually had a case, I think, when I was in college where she ended up rewriting Florida law somehow. There was a case where a young man who was drunk driving, I think he was a juvenile, 16 years old, killed 4 other people crashing into them. He was like going at some crazy rate of speed, and she was able to give him a sentence that was never given to a person that young before. So she is very good at her job. She is my total inspiration for the reason why I want to be a lawyer. I tell her that all the time. And so although I kind of want to go a different route, I don't necessarily want to do like the criminal law route, although you never know, and I kind of want to go more into politics. She is definitely the reason why I decided to go to law school for sure.
Oh, I could relate to your sister Jenny.
Yeah, I know. I was so excited to tell you that because of your very extensive babackground in criminal law.
Exactly. I was a homicide prosecutor too.
I know.
That's where I cut my teeth. That's where, look, for a litigator, there is no better place to get the experience than the prosecutor's office. Hands down. I gave a TED talk on really this sort of experience that I had, and I really believe that young attorneys, it is so hard for young attorneys to get trial experience. If you're at a larger law firm, it's usually the more experienced and seasoned attorneys. The clients, the private clients, they expect experience. They expect that sort of you did the thing, right? And it's hard if you're with these larger law firms to jump in and get experience right away. Prosecutor's office, and I could only imagine the volume in Miami, too, in the homicide unit for your sister. And what a tremendous mentor to have. Is she still a prosecutor?
So she is the mom of 2 young kids now, and she wants to grow her family. So she's taken a hiatus, but I have a feeling that she'll be back for sure, to the benefit of the Miami-Dade State's Attorney's Office. And my other sister runs a very successful business and has 3 little boys of her own. So they are both very busy, very successful people. I'm very proud of my sisters.
That is awesome. So you chose St. Thomas Law, which is
yeah.
in Miami. It's North Miami.
Yep.
And was that something you had eyed up? Did you want to go somewhere else, or was that?
Yeah, good question. I was a University of Miami undergrad, so I definitely wanted to go to UM Law. But when St. Thomas came on my radar and I was able to tour the campus when I was during my year as Miss Florida, actually, they had invited me, and I was able to meet, Dean Nunez, because back then I'd only met her once before. I think this was the second time I was able to get close to her, and then she became my mentor, and we're very close now. But I was just awestruck at her, not only her beauty, but her professionalism, her class, and the fact that she was also a UM undergrad and an STU law grad. And I just thought, like, I want to be exactly like her when I am at her point in her career. And so that kind of sold me, as well as the career department there at the school, because I have a very specific career goal in mind, at least an avenue that I want to take. And they were very supportive. I told them I want to be a reporter. I want to be a legal reporter. And, of course, I want to do some work before that, perhaps as an attorney or in a political office or what have you. But that is my end goal. And I know that it's not why most people go to law school, but they were totally on board. They didn't even bat an eye. They're like, if that's what you want to do, we're going to help you get there. And so I think that being in a little bit of a smaller school environment was better for me because it's more individualized attention. And I do think that St. Thomas is genuinely a school that cares about their students. They deliver high quality education. They have amazing professors. So it was a very easy choice after being able to be on campus.
Oh, that's great. Dean Nunez Navarro is coming on the show too
Oh my
in a
gosh!
couple
Well,
weeks.
I tell her I love her. She knows
And
that.
I didn't really put it together until recently too that you guys knew each other and that you guys were close. I mean, Dean and I have been in communication for a while now, just because I'm so proud of what she's doing down there at St. Thomas.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's like
which
a big
is
sister.
my
She's
alum.
awesome. Yeah.
That's great. So you also did an internship recently. This is your last week at Fox News, and you talked about journalism. Mm-hmm. So is that where you want to be? Let's just fast forward, let's say 10 plus years. Where do you see yourself going with that?
It's hard to say because I had such a one-track mind going into law school and really even moving to DC 2 months ago that I definitely want to be like a political press secretary, and it has to happen after that, and it has to be this, and this way. But I also never thought I'd get the Florida Gubernatorial Fellowship and be able to do my second year at Florida State College of Law. So I certainly think that's going to teach me a lot about working for state government and teach me a lot of different avenues I can take towards becoming a reporter or anchor. That is ultimately what I want to do. But in terms of getting there, like, I'm not turning up my nose at anything. I think that all of the opportunities I've been afforded thus far have been excellent and unexpected. I've even loved working as an associate producer. I never thought I'd like working behind the scenes because I do think it's one of the hardest jobs in news. I think it's even harder than being in front of the camera, which is arguably really tough. A really tough craft to master, but being able to work as a producer has been such a treat. And so while I don't think that's necessarily what I want to do, because my heart is still being in front of the camera and being able to deliver news, I am not really sure how it's going to go. I'm not really sure what's going to happen next, but I know that it's going to be a really exciting journey.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's what an experience because, I did a ton of Fox News before COVID, going into New York. Yep, going into New York City. And I wonder, when you got that position and you're a summer in Fox News DC, and you're starting to see the shows and how the shows are put together, right? You have the producers, you have these pitch meetings that you talked about. There's also the bookers that are responsible for getting the talent to fill the stories. What did you learn most about that experience that you didn't know before you went for that internship?
Yes, I would say the thing that stuck out the most was something that one could probably already guess, but it takes you back to see it in person, is the quality of work that Fox produces. Like, even the banners, which for the people that might not know that, is like what's at the bottom of the screen. I know that you know what that is, but for the viewers to get a picture, the location and the date on the top, like even the littlest minute details like that the viewers see for like all of 10 or 20 seconds. At Fox, everything's perfection. They want the shots cut up at the same time. They want to know the out cue. They want to know the exact second something is going to go up next. Is this typo right? Well, let's change that banner so it's more clear to the viewers. Are you sure that's the city? Because it might be a city that's 5 minutes away. Like, everything is perfection. The quality of the work that they produce, like, no detail is spared. I think that was very inspiring to me to see, like, wow, like, I have a Fox News family. Like, my dad loves watching Fox News after a long day at work. My mom too. And to be able to see all the work that goes into the episodes that, I've watched at home for so long was like surreal. But it made me really very proud to work at a news station that develops such quality, well thought out product. It really does. So the amount of work and the amount of scrutiny that is just behind a single segment is unbelievable, but it's well worth it because that's why Fox News is Fox News.
Yeah. Also, too, it's live.
Yeah.
I mean, it is on the fly
live
as things come out. And before we came on air, too, I was telling you about an experience that I had with a mutual friend of ours, Shannon Bream, who I used to go into New York City and do segments for her basically every Friday. And when I was there, George Bush Sr. died, literally on set. She said, me and Bob Bianchi, my law partner, were sitting there at the desk with Shannon when she just went and gave the news to the country on Fox News about the death of the former president without a teleprompter. It was so exceptional to just see that for her, to be able to spit that knowledge of his service and his presidency and all of the great work that he did live. And I think that's one of my huge takeaways too from seeing the operation, being in there, even being on set with all of them, is the live nature and on the go. Everyone's doing what needs to be done for that production.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's a mega talent. I have nothing but admiration for Shannon Bream. She's pretty phenomenal.
Isn't she? Author, pageant winner, as well as Sunday host now. And what an exceptional person, kind and compassionate as well. So, any possibility of getting to the prosecutor's office for you, Juliette?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that is definitely of interest to me. Right now, it seems like I'm going to be working more in the government because, like I said, I'm going to be working at a state agency starting in August. I'm moving to Tallahassee to work at the Florida State Capitol. My agency placement is to be determined, but I have some really great options and I'm waiting to hear where I'll land. So I don't know if that's where I'll end up going out of law school or what I'll do. Maybe I'll go to a local market and try to get into Fox's multimedia reporter program and then go from there to become a national correspondent. I don't know where my life is going to take me. That's the tricky part. So I have a lot of great options that I want to put 100% of my effort towards, but which one will pan out or which one will serve my life the best at 26 years old in 2027 when I'm graduated. I don't know. We'll see. It's hard to say in the middle of school, but I'm really excited to work at the Florida State Capitol. I think I'm really going to love it there. I really do.
I'm sure you are. I mean, what a great state too. Capital of Florida. You guys have a lot going on down there.
Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. Florida's the new DC for sure. I mean, there's so many political goings on, which has been really nice for me to be able to contribute Florida-based stories to my team as well at Fox, because Florida just is the epicenter of so many political things right now.
Ah, that's great. So it sounds like you got it going on. Now, what about the habits, the routines, the goal setting? Can you talk about any of that? Have you picked any of that up through your journeys?
So you mean in terms of like how I set goals and how I like sort of schedule my plans and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'll tell you, for me, all right, I wake up early. I do not go to the phone. I'm listening to gospel music. I'm doing a journal. I'm exercising every morning. That's my rock star morning. And it ends with journaling and meditation. But this is a thing. I mean, for the abundance of information coming from everywhere, we have distractions at every screen, at every place. So I think it does take a lot of discipline and sacrifice and intention in a world of abundance. And I wonder, what have you found success with in this type of conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have to tell you, my morning routine does not look like yours. My dad, who is up by 4 because he is already working, has to call me every morning to make sure I'm up. But he's the best. So I'm just being honest, and then I'll get up and then get ready really quickly for work, and then run to the metro. So my morning routine is not as well planned out as yours. But in terms of goal setting, yes, I'm very good now about writing things down. Very good at planning out my calendar. I like to maximize everything. Like this week alone in DC, I know it's my last week, so I'm meeting with every single mentor of mine that I possibly can. I'm going to the West Wing tomorrow. I get to be on the south lawn of the White House on Friday morning to watch the president board a plane with some Fox News people. So I'm trying to maximize my time, which is part of my goal setting. Like, I guess my goal is to have made the most of my summer here in DC, and I do believe I've done that. And in terms of balancing school and work when I get to Tallahassee as well, some local news station work, I'm trying to work that out right now, fingers crossed. I'm definitely going to have an agenda that I keep track of things because it is easy to forget. You're probably a much busier person than I am, but I'm sure that you have to write things down and keep track of things as well. So definitely, I think planning and making sure that you're keeping track of everything is a huge part of goal setting, because you can come up with all these great goals, which is what I'm like. I'm very much a daydreamer. I'm an eternal optimist, and I like to have a lot of things going on at once, which is great, but it's also easy to get lost in the shuffle and be a doer of all and a master of none. So for me, I've had to kind of learn, okay, well, it's good to have these dreams and goals, but as far as like how we're going to achieve them, that's the part that I need to work on a little bit more. So I'm currently adopting a strategy where I make sure I have all my ducks in a row, and it's working out pretty good so far.
Oh, that is great. It is such a pleasure to have you. For the listeners, the audience, they want to check you out. They want to follow you. Where can they find you?
Sure. So my Instagram is at official Juliette Valle. Yeah, my YouTube is Juliette Valle. My Facebook's Juliette Valle. Everything else is just my name. But my Instagram is where I predominantly post. And my TikTok is Juliette Valle TV. So
There you go. Throwing the TV at the end, I see.
I know it's jumping the gun a little bit. But
And one of these days, I'm sure we will be sharing the screen. All right. When you get that hosting job and you got a criminal case you want to talk about, you give me a call.
I will. Thank you. I definitely will do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going on Court TV in a couple minutes now to talk about the Koberger sentencing today, and we got a lot of other cases to talk about. So
you're gonna kill it.
I'm right there in the mix. All right. So with that being said, thank you so much. This is Nothing But the Truth. I'm your host, Dave Bruno. And if you want to watch this interview, because we are filming this video as well, it's nothingbuttetruthpodcast.com, where you could find Juliette, Shannon Bream, Uma Sophia, and all of our great guests that we've had already. And this will be going on Instagram and YouTube and all the things. So we'll be sure to tag and collaborate with Juliette. Juliette, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.